Curt is still laid up nursing his ankle, which is showing no signs of improvement, guys. And I was kind of hoping by now that we would start to be turning the corner, headed the right way. But in the city of Istanbul, with these cobblestone streets and these really steep roads, he pretty much can't even leave the apartment. So we've been eating a little bit of stuff that we were able to get delivered from a grocery store. But today I decided a little treat was in order, and I'm gonna walk up here to the local pedestrian street, which happens to be a major tourist attraction here in Istanbul. It's called Istiklal Street, and it is crowded with a lot of people, and it is about a 4 to 5 minute walk up this hill from our apartment to be at this famous location. So that is kind of cool. I've walked up here and I was actually looking for a Turkish restaurant to try to get some local cuisine, and somehow I ended up sitting down at a restaurant that serves Chinese food. But I was able to get myself a nice stir fry and some little bang bang shrimp type things. So I ate my lunch there, just did a little bit of people watching, and I got a little break from the apartment. And then I got the exact same thing as a to-go order to take back to the apartment to Curt, so he can have some good food too. Also stopped off to pick up a little dessert from the local coffee shop as an extra treat for Curt while he is battling through this ankle thing. Because not only is he dealing with pain, guys, but there's also the disappointment of not being able to get out and about in this world famous city and walk around, and just being cooped up in the apartment is tough. So we're taking him a yummy lunch and a yummy dessert. So even though our plans are not off to the right start here in Istanbul while we're dealing with Curt's ankle injury, part of the plan for being here in this city was to deal with some medical checkups. And Istanbul is known as a medical tourism international destination, and that is one reason we picked this city. And today I head to the American hospital to do my 6-month cardio checkup that I'm required to do every 6 months, because if you do not know, if you haven't followed our journey for a while, several years ago, 2.5 to 3 years ago now, I was diagnosed with heart failure that came from a heart attack. So this is something we deal with on the road, and dealing with it in different countries is always interesting to see how it's done and how it goes. So we're going to find out what it's like here in Istanbul, Turkey. Now, I reached out to the international department here at the American hospital in advance, before we even decided for sure to come here to do this. And I got matched up with a lady named Zainab, and we started coordinating everything via email. And she was able to get all of my appointments scheduled on one day. And what you might not know is when you go in for a 6-month cardio checkup, you are going in for a consultation with a cardiologist, an echocardiogram, an EKG, and an extensive cardio blood workup. And I love the fact that in most of the countries that I've done this, it's all been able to happen within one day, because that sure makes it a lot easier than scheduling these appointments out over 3 weeks. Much of that is thanks to Zainab, our liaison here, that helps us coordinate all of our appointments. She helps us figure out how to pay. She's even walked me over to the pharmacy when we were dealing with Curt's ankle injury on an emergency status. She is also coordinating all of Curt's appointments that we didn't know we were going to have to kind of follow up with this ankle thing. So as far as the international tourism is going here in Istanbul, Turkey, we're going to give it a thumbs up, and we'll give you another report when we're done and complete with all of our stuff. But for those that are curious, my blood work came back perfectly fine. My kidneys are staying strong. My liver's doing good, which is always a concern when you take a lot of prescriptions. And my heart blood numbers all came in where they were expected to be. My EKG showed no signs of any change, and my echocardiogram, if you are familiar with heart failure and you understand numbers, then you will understand what this means. My ejection fraction is hanging out between 30 and 35, and that is pretty much where it has been for the past 18 months. So I am pleased with how that went. The cardiologist was very informative, took time to explain some things to me, and she wrote me out a 6-month prescription in Turkish, which is very helpful for me to take to the pharmacy and load up on a lot of my heart medications to be able to take back to the States with us, because just in case you don't know, they're a lot less expensive here in Turkey, as they are in most parts of the world. And for a little look ahead, something I plan on doing when we're done here in Turkey is doing a little recap of what everything cost and kind of how it went for anyone that's curious about medical tourism. But the pricing will come in a later video. But for now, guys, I'm happy with my cardio report.
Have you ever felt like a place just didn't want you there? Well, today we're leaving the American hospital, and fortunately Snow got a pretty good update on her 6-month checkup. And here in the city, it's another rainy, wintry day. It's cold, and it's hard for me to complain because since we've been here, I've pretty much either been in the hospital or I've pretty much been in the apartment, and my only views of the city have been outside the windows of the drivers who carried me back and forth from the hospital. And I do have to say I'm very grateful because having the rides is so convenient, and the drivers are very professional and good. And really, it is the way that I have seen the city so far, through the windows of these cars. But all of a sudden, boom, another taxi cab driver slams in the back of our vehicle. Now, we had just stopped at a stoplight, and of course it's wet outside, and I can tell you the crash was violent and snapped my head and snapped Snow's neck, and just startled us. Fortunately, no one was hurt. The driver got out, looked at the damage on the car, some kind of way, there was none, and he was just so calm and collected, and we jumped back in the car and got on the road back to our apartment. And but I will tell you that it's about a 20 or 30 minute drive from the American hospital to our apartment. Now that varies greatly on the time of the day and the traffic, but one cool thing about this route that takes us up to our neighborhood is we go by the Grand Hyatt Resort and Hotel in Istanbul. And if you were to do tourism here, medical tourism here, this might be a place that you would look at staying. But our good fortune is that our friends David and Diane, who you guys have met a couple other times as we traveled through Europe, our very good longtime friends, are staying at the Grand Hyatt, and so it's a nice stop off to see them. And we were able to do that one day, and we had some tea and we had some snacks. But then they came over to our place to have some lunch and to visit us since I wasn't so mobile. What a treat.
Well, this is the after, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We got there's nothing to show.
We ate it.
We ate it all.
When we get
There's one small piece of pita left.
Ooh.
That's the only thing left is a small piece of pita.
one thing
It ain't gonna make it.
And then Curt is gonna.
So I need to stop for just a second, and I need to give you, a lot of the backstory here. First of all, for those of you who don't know Dave and Diane, we met them a few years ago, and they've been traveling nomadically for longer than us. They've been in Europe for several years. They've been in a van traveling Europe for, I think, at least 3 years. We first met him 2 years ago in northern Italy, and then we met him again in Albania where I dropped the drone. Actually, the drone took a plop in the Mediterranean Sea. They were there for that. And I think we've seen him in England and maybe a couple other spots, but we message frequently, and we share stories, and they've been good friends of ours. They deal with the same thing that we did when we were in Europe, which is the Schengen shuffle. So you're only allowed 90 days in the Schengen countries, and then you have to be out for 90 days. Turkey is one of their very, very favorite countries to get out of the Schengen, especially during the winter months. Now they go down to the south of Turkey. We're kind of up toward the northern bits in Istanbul. So they've made a special trip here just to see us. Also doing big cities like Istanbul, 15 million people is difficult in the van. And although they love the city, they wouldn't be here but for us. And so we were so excited, since I was immobile because we had planned to do some stuff together, that they came over to the apartment to have lunch with us. But, and here's the big but, probably like within an hour of them getting there, maybe even 30 minutes, I got a call from Zainab over at the American Hospital, and she said that there's a car on the way, that I need to come to the hospital now. I need to bring some clothes because they need to admit me into the hospital. And I asked for how long, and she said at least 2 or 3 days. They're not sure. But what happened is last night, before we went to see them for tea and appetizers, I got an MRI and I got my blood work done. Well, they got the results back this morning, and my CRP numbers, let me get this right, my CRP numbers, which is C-reactive protein levels, were extremely high. They were above 60. Now there's several ranges. There's the normal range, but when I first got to the hospital, I was in the middle range, and that's why they put me on the oral antibiotics. I was on those for a week, and I've been off them now for a couple days. Well, my numbers were elevated to a high severe level. So they want me to head over to the hospital right away. She said I got a driver. She put me on the phone with my orthopedic doctor, who's amazing. They're both amazing, and the orthopedic doctor said, yeah, Curt, you need to come in here for the hospital. You're not currently on antibiotics, and we need to get you on some heavy-duty antibiotics, and we need to get you in front of the infectious disease doctor so she can evaluate you and decide what the next steps are. But most likely, based on the level of your infection, you're gonna need to come in. And our first response was, no, send me the test results and let us think about it. And after a quick Google search or AI search, we quickly realized how severe it was. But we had lunch on the way. And so we gobbled up lunch. They sent a driver over. Snow and our visit was cut short. Now, at this time of the day, because there's a school right across from our apartment, I had to hoof it up the hill, up the cobblestone roads, and we said our goodbyes and zoom off to the hospital. And again, hats off to Zainab and the team over there. I mean, on a dime, they got me right into the infectious disease doctor, and she evaluated me, and she looked at my foot and my medical tests. At this time, they had, everything, all sorts of tests. And she said, yeah, you need to get some strong antibiotics through IV. And I, of course, said, well, do I necessarily need to get admitted into the hospital? I just had these visions of getting admitted into the hospital and, hospital in Turkey and never coming out. So anyway, long story short, she said we can set them up to do them as on a walk-in patient level. And so Zainab, after our visit, took me right over immediately straight away over to the emergency room. And I mean, these guys, within 30 minutes, maybe 45, they were giving me an antibiotic IV. Now, the doctor's orders are that I have to come back again tomorrow morning, tomorrow night, Friday, Saturday. No, I think I need to be reevaluated on Friday. So in any event, I'm supposed to be admitted into the hospital. They're gonna work with me and allow me to go into the emergency room and get them. But it's kind of gotten a little bit scary here because instead of getting better, guys, my ankle's actually getting worse. And this infection is one that the levels can get into the bone and become very severe. And so I'm nervous, No's nervous, and yeah, we just got to see how things are going to play out.
Your ankle tonight when we take the boot off.
I've heard a story, I've heard it said, I've come to believe that love is a bet. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, and sometimes it calls you right. Come to my table, come to my bed, go easy my hunger, easy my head. Bringing me fire, bringing me water, taking me high, taking me down. Give me your pretty, give me your messy, give me your happy, give me your sad. I may be staying, I may be going, I may be left, I may fall apart. Come to my table, come to my bed, go easy my hunger, easy my head. Bringing me fire, bringing me water, taking me high, taking me down. Come to my table, come to my bed, go easy my hunger, easy my head. Oh, bringing me fire, bringing me water, taking me high, taking me down.
Yani.
We're gonna have to get new pockets. These are slowly dying.
Really? That's
We
weird.
wear them out. The buttons start to have shorts in them, and
That's. Oh no, that's. Oh, all we get is cheese pita. So, did you know you were getting that?
it'll be great.
Cheese pita?
I thought we were gonna get a cubed beef pita too.
You got a cheese pita.
Oh, okay. I
Looks delicious.
ordered
And eggplant with minced. I think
meat.
it's
minced
meat.
lamb probably.
Look pretty. Look pretty.
Restaurant that we used to
That's
order from here, but
the Petlican. I can't say the name. Petlican kofta, which is eggplant with meat. That's the Adana kebab. That's the tavuk shish or tavuk kanat, which is
Chicken wings.
chicken
chicken wings,
really
which
good
are
chicken
buried
wings,
under
and
there
they're usually
with
basted
meat
with
sauce.
meat juices. So,
And you get bulgur, you get esme, you
and
get
a
the
cheese pita.
cheese pita, and you get the parsley with
Sumac
sumac.
and,
The seasoning on it, sumac. Really,
and
really
red
good.
onions.
Yeah, and the peppers, which are roasted peppers, and they are the roasted parts of it are really, really good. As a matter of fact, so
Yeah.
All right.
It worked out really well that David Diane's hotel were strategically located right between the hospital and our apartment. It made it super easy just to have the driver drop us off there, and then we're finished, just take a cab on. But this morning we are off again to get another IV, and my ankle, after a few treatments, is kind of maybe leveled off, maybe even going down a little bit. So I'm optimistic about that, but we still have to get another
It's a little
IV.
higher today than it was this morning.
Yeah. An exciting evening in the emergency room, even though it's not an emergency. This is where we come for Curt's antibiotic IV treatments. We're on the third dose of 5.
Merry Christmas. By the time you get this, guys, it's going to be after Christmas, but this
Is Christmas Eve for us.
And so I will be spending Christmas Eve here, and then in the morning tomorrow, I have another IV that I have to get in the antibiotic IV, and then I meet with the orthopedic doctor tomorrow,
For an update.
and then on Friday I have another IV antibiotic, and then I meet with the infectious doctor.
Yeah.
So it's been quite a journey.
Yes, it has. But we're getting through it. One IV at a time.
And another one.
Guess who's back?
Good. How are you?
Which way do I go?
I think from here.
Good morning. How are you today?
Morning.
Everyone's waiting for us.
Look, there's a team here.
Oh
Wow.
boy. Hello. Hello. Why so many? Teaching?
Neden bu kadar şey interview? One is me.
This one, yeah, third. That's good. That's good.
Değil mi? Yara yoktu zaten.
Yara yoktu, sadece şey vardı, iltihap vardı. Şey, acilden geliyoruz zaten. Yatış önermişti hocam. Sonra acile gidip şey yapıyorlar. Entravenözel antibiyotik.
Anladım.
She has the prescription right there.
Any change?
Yeah, I think it's improved some. I think it's improved quite a bit actually. It's still, you'll see, it's still swelling, but
Okay. And you went to dermatology for some.
That's it.
Not yet.
No.
Yes, we can see.
Günaydın.
Günaydın hocam.
Okay, let me check. Anyway.
there's still inflammation.
But
Still
not
pain.
Not that much.
Not as bad, but still pain there.
The most painful part was this.
Right there, yes.
And with moving. So it seems it's improving.
It's improving.
Okay, and the swelling subsided.
Subsided quite a bit.
Not around the ankle joint, but the foot, around the foot was.
Well, it was swelling all the way up here, here. The whole thing was last time.
Yes, and it's. I see it's decreasing.
Yeah, did you see the full MRI report?
Yeah.
And nothing.
And some effusion in the joint. This one and this one.
What is effusion?
Liquid
Liquid.
increase of liquids. So also some arthritis, but mostly subcutaneous tissue inflammation under the skin. The tissue under the skin thickened because
Okay.
of the swelling.
And the swelling is because infection, we think?
Yes, it's probably because your CRP level, which is showing infection,
Very high, yes.
was high even we gave you antibiotics.
Do we have any idea what caused it? What the cause was?
Sometimes the fungal infections causes skin, small skin because of itching and some
Abrasion,
other
yeah.
abrasions. It causes the bacteria, which is already on all our tissues, on all human has bacteria, and they enter through the skin cracks and cause cellulitis, the soft tissue infections in that way.
Okay.
The most reason is this one, some small scar, some small other scars can also cause that one.
Okay. Okay.
Not just.
So we don't really know. But so what
Because
started
you-
the injury was like, I think maybe tendinitis or something like that.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
You know, chicken egg.
I understand. We just don't know.
All of them were together because you had too much tissue inflammation because if you get tired, you always used to drive and swelling
More
of your
inflammation.
swelling.
And
of
then
your
I had to
fluid.
make a long walk to the airport because they didn't pick me up in the wheelchair.
And
I think that damaged it the most.
damaging the tendinitis was already there probably because you get tired and you have some swollen foot already due to some body mass posture because of long time driving, and you get tired and the tendons inflamed also, that tissue swelling increased and it gave the bacteria opportunity to cause more.
Okay.
So tissue edema, protein around the between the cellular tissues, and that causes the bacteria to grow.
Edema
easily.
is like bruising?
Edema is swelling.
Swelling. Edema is
Swelling.
swelling. Okay, yeah.
Swelling.
Okay.
and it's improving. So we should be continuing to rest.
So am I finished with antibiotics then?
No, it will be decided by infection doctor Bahar,
Okay.
and she will decide when to go back to oral antibiotics again, depending on your blood test result, the CRP
Today
level.
we will do the blood.
we'll do it tomorrow morning.
we will blood test.
So tomorrow, so do I have any more scheduled IV?
I will still have to ask her because.
Very
So
good.
we
one
will
more
continue-
tomorrow?
We will continue tomorrow.
Oh, and then the
maybe
blood
later.
test.
Yes, yes.
Okay, then she'll know if we keep going.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you guys know when we put out new videos. And don't forget, you can always follow us over on Instagram to see what's going on in between videos. Cheers, guys!